to tech and AI expert Dan Sodergren, and I asked him what the role of platforms like X and AI will play in the upcoming US election.
It's going to be absolutely huge. You've got to remember, of course, that fake news and other things that's not a new thing, is it? At the end of the day, we had fake news and fake reports for a very long time. But of course, artificial intelligence, not only does it allow everyone to become more productive, but unfortunately it also allows people to create more fake news and fake photos and other things. And so it's putting that kind of ability in the hands of maybe normal people. And so of course you've got loads more content that's going to be creative, sadly, for kind of maybe sometimes odd and nefarious kind of means, and on this occasion it seems to be a downright lie, which of course the problem being, of course, is that in this new digital age, misinformation or a lie can spread like wildfire.
And this came off the back of false claims that spread on X after the Southport stabbings, and that led to some of the riots and unrest that we saw. Do you think that damaged the platform?
Well, the platform X, or Twitter, as I think lots of other people like to call it, of course, as soon as it was taken over by Elon Musk, he made it very clear that his plan was to change it a lot. I think he fired pretty much every person who was a human moderator, which made it much more easy for misinformation to start to be out there. He's obviously very right-wing in his own views, and he seems to be kind of creating a platform in his own image, trying to almost get rid of those people who don't think like him, but bizarrely enough under the ideas of free speech. So yeah, he seems to be one of the main areas of bizarrely misinformation, or stoking the fires of racism and the riots. You've got to remember, it was because he allowed some of the posts and amplified some of those posts. Well, to be honest with you, I think a lot of people were leaving Twitter already. I think a lot more people will do. And of course, quite famously at the moment, Elon Musk is now trying to sue the advertisers who are no longer advertising with him. So I don't think it seems to be going all his way, but he certainly seems to be stoking the fires of the right-wing people. And of course, we should be looking at that and realising that should almost be illegal to do.
Are those numbers following through, though? We've heard anecdotally about a so-called X exodus. Are people leaving the platform and going elsewhere?
Well, anecdotally, yeah, I'd say that's the case. But actually, some of the stats that are coming out around the day to say that users are down by about a fifth since he took over. He completely refutes these claims and says it's not true. But you've got to remember, of course, he also said he was going to take over X and get rid of the bots. And yet, however, it is seen now there are more bots on there than ever before. From friends and families, and let's be fair, other businesses I talk to, a lot of people are leaving X, not just advertisers, but users too, and going over to things like Threads and other things, because they're just a nicer place to be. It's a little bit like, if your local pub was then taken over by a new landlord who let a load of far-right people in who were all shouting and saying obscenities all the time, you most probably wouldn't go there to drink anymore. I think that's what X is a little bit like now, sadly.
Tonight, Elon Musk will interview Donald Trump live on X later tonight. What do you think that says about the world we live in, communications as well?
Well, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, whether you like them or not, and I'm not going to say which side I'm on that one, but I think a lot of people potentially are against them, but they are great show people. And of course, that's what they're putting on. They're putting on a great show. And if you look at the polls over in America, Donald Trump isn't doing particularly well. And so maybe this is like his last bastion of choice. He can go on this so-called free, network or X with championing free speech. They've obviously got their own agenda. They're looking for as much publicity as possible. Just a quick one on that. I saw that the live stream check, as in like a mic check they were doing, that actually got 3 million people going to it, and that was them just checking to see if the platform was working. So goodness knows how many millions will be there for the live thing. Whether they'll all be real, or some of them will be bots, or some of it will be artificial intelligence, only time will tell. But I'm hoping it doesn't become something that will break the internet and make them both extremely famous. But I have a feeling, they're doing it for that reason. I think Elon Musk realizes that controversy is a really good way to get engagement rates up, and maybe that's why he's doing it.
Well, Elon Musk, of course, always argues that he is in favour of free speech. Has it got to the point where governments are able to do anything to control what is out there on socials now?
Well, I think that we've got a bigger worry, haven't we? If billionaires and the richest people in the world become, the gatekeepers of truth, then there's a potential. Our democracy really is at stake, isn't it? We've got to remember that back in the day, maybe you were allowed to own a few newspapers, but Rupert Murdoch wouldn't have put himself on the front page every day saying his political views. Now it seems it's okay that Elon Musk does that. I have a feeling that very, very soon, and it's going to be quite soon, governments are going to have to start saying a lot more on this, because if you're having someone who is, got the most followers in the world, and he actually controls the platform, the algorithm, and all this other stuff, and he's saying that not necessarily there should be a civil war, but civil war is imminent, it might happen in a country. I have a feeling that's a little bit more important than perhaps some other governments are saying. But it's mainly Elon Musk, remember. It's not necessarily that Mark Zuckerberg's doing the same on Facebook, and all the CEO of TikTok's doing the same. It's mainly Elon Musk here and his ego. But I have a feeling that this is why we created laws in the first place.
OK, Dan, many thanks for joining us tonight on The Nine.